My friend, this is not just another video you stumbled across. This is a divine appointment. If you are watching right now, you are not here by accident. There's a reason, a calling, and a message you must hear before August 20, 2025. This is urgent, and it is specifically for the chosen ones, those who have been marked for a higher purpose in these shifting times. When a date is marked in time with urgency, it is not just the movement of the calendar, it is a signpost to something far deeper unfolding in the unseen realm, and August 20, 2025 stands as such a signpost, not meant to be taken lightly, not meant to be dismissed as ordinary, because those who are truly chosen sense it in their spirit that something about this season is different, that the atmosphere has shifted, that the weight of responsibility is increasing, and that the urgency to step into alignment is stronger than ever before. This is not merely a countdown to a day, but a divine marker that distinguishes preparation from manifestation, pruning from fruitfulness, and testing from elevation. Chosen ones understand that heaven operates on times and seasons, and there are windows where the hand of God moves swiftly, opening doors for those who are ready and closing them for those who are not. That is why this prophetic deadline matters. It is not about fear, but about readiness, not about doom, but about destiny, not about random change, but about intentional transformation, because everything that has been happening in your life up to this point has been pointing you toward this moment of awakening. You have been stretched, refined, and stripped of things you once thought you could not live without, and while others have been celebrating temporary victories, you have been in the fire of refining, and that refining has not been without purpose. The chosen cannot afford to live casually when a divine deadline approaches, because procrastination can cost more than just time. It can cost opportunity, it can cost favor, it can cost the opening of doors that only remain open for a moment. This is why August 20, 2025 should be burned into your spirit as a reminder that alignment is not optional, that preparation is not negotiable, that awakening is not to be delayed. The chosen ones must recognize that this deadline represents the shift from being hidden to being revealed, from being tested to being trusted, from walking through deserts to stepping into promised places. It is a crossing point, a spiritual threshold, a time when the fullness of everything you have endured will begin to make sense. But only if you are awake enough to see it and ready enough to walk into it. It is not enough to simply exist and wait for time to pass, because this deadline demands intentionality, demands focus, demands a clarity that cuts through distractions. The chosen must use this time to align their hearts, their minds, and their spirits with the assignment placed on their lives, because destiny does not wait for hesitation, and calling does not pause for convenience. You cannot approach this prophetic moment with passivity, because the time is drawing near when the prepared will step forward and the unprepared will miss what was meant for them. This is why your awareness matters now more than ever, why your choices in this season carry weight, why every prayer, every act of obedience, every moment of discipline is connected to the greater unveiling that is coming. August 20, 2025 is not about the end, but about the beginning, not about fear, but about faith, not about loss, but about stepping into gain, because the chosen ones are being summoned to rise, to awaken, and to walk boldly into the future that has been waiting for them all along. Every trial you have faced, every tear you have cried, every moment of confusion where you asked why things were not working out as you hoped, all of it has been a season of preparation, not punishment, though at times it may have felt like you were abandoned, overlooked, or forgotten. The truth is that you were being molded, refined, and shaped into someone who could carry the weight of what is coming. Struggles are never wasted for the chosen ones. They are the chisels that carve character, the fires that purify intentions, and the storms that strengthen foundations. If you look closely, you will notice that the very places where you were resisted the most were the areas where you were being prepared for the greatest breakthroughs. And the delays you thought were denials were actually divine pauses. Moments where heaven was saying, wait, not yet, because there is more work to be done in you before the promise can be entrusted to you. The season of preparation is often misunderstood because it looks like loss to those who do not see. With spiritual eyes, it looks like setbacks. It looks like being stripped of opportunities, relationships, or resources. But what is really happening is a holy reset, a pruning process where what is unnecessary is removed so that what is essential can grow. Preparation demands surrender, and surrender often comes through pain, through the breaking of pride, through the removal of false securities, through the letting go of people who cannot walk with you into the next chapter. Many times you thought you were being punished for mistakes, but in reality, you were being protected from distractions, from counterfeits, from premature exposure that could have destroyed you before your roots were deep enough to sustain the calling on your life. Every delay has carried a lesson. Every closed door has whispered wisdom. Every unexpected change has forced you to dig deeper into resilience and patience. This is why the chosen cannot despise their wilderness seasons, because the wilderness is where dependence on God is formed. It is where the noise of the world is stripped away. It is where you learn that your identity is not in what you have or what others say about you, but in the one who called you. The losses you endured were not meant to crush you. They were meant to teach you to see beyond the surface, to build your vision on something eternal, to rely not on temporary successes, but on lasting truth. If you had received what you prayed for when you first asked, you would not have been ready to steward it. And that is why the waiting has been long, because the promise requires maturity, wisdom, and a heart that has been humbled through preparation. Think of the weight of what is ahead. Think of the doors that will open, the influence that will be given, the opportunities that will come. None of these things can be carried by someone unprepared, because blessings without preparation can become burdens, and influence without character can destroy destiny. This is why the season you are in has been so intense, so relentless, so filled with lessons you didn't ask for, but desperately needed. You are being trained for your next level, sharpened in silence, stretched in private, prepared behind the scenes, because when the time comes, you will not have to scramble to figure out who you are or what you carry. You will already be rooted, already established, already refined. The chosen ones are never thrown into greatness unprepared. They are prepared in obscurity. And though it feels heavy now, it is only proof that something greater is on the horizon. There always comes a moment in history where separation becomes inevitable, where lines are drawn not by human decision, but by divine timing. And this season is one of those moments, because the chosen ones are being called to step away from the noise, the distractions, and the cycles that keep them small. The call to separation is not about pride or superiority. It is about clarity. It is about discernment. It is about walking away from what no longer serves your purpose, so that you can fully embrace what has been waiting for you. You cannot walk into destiny with hands still clinging to everything familiar. You cannot carry the weight of your calling while being entangled in distractions that drain your focus. And you cannot live as one set apart if you continue to blend in with those who have no interest in growing, changing, or aligning with truth. This is a time when heaven is distinguishing the serious from the casual, the focused from the complacent, the fearless from the fearful. And this separation may not always feel comfortable. You may feel the sting of losing relationships that you thought would last forever. You may feel the ache of walking away from spaces where you once felt at home. You may feel the weight of silence when you are no longer included in circles that once embraced you. But what you must understand is that every act of separation is a step closer to elevation. Those who refuse to let go of what hinders them cannot expect to be carried into the fullness of their mission, and those who cling to comfort will not experience the breakthroughs reserved for those who were willing to walk alone for a season. Distraction in this hour is dangerous because time is moving quickly and the stakes are higher than ever. Fear is paralyzing many, keeping them from stepping into opportunities, silencing their voices, and keeping them tied to environments that stunt their growth. But the chosen ones are being summoned to rise above fear, to refuse the illusion of safety that comes with staying where it is comfortable, and to embrace the courage it takes to walk a path that few will understand. Separation always comes with misunderstanding because people will not always see why you chose to pull away, why you declined the invitation, why you are no longer available for every conversation. But chosen ones must learn to be comfortable with being misunderstood because purpose demands focus and focus demands sacrifice. There is also a spiritual separation taking place, a filtering where motives are being tested, where hearts are being weighed, and where the true intentions of those around you are being revealed. Some people were never meant to walk with you into the next level, and though you may have prayed for them to stay, their season in your life has expired. This is not rejection, it is redirection, and the sooner you release what is not meant for you, the sooner your hands will be free to receive what is. Separation is not always about leaving people behind. Sometimes it is about leaving behind versions of yourself that you have outgrown, shedding old mindsets, breaking free from habits that no longer align with who you are becoming, and letting go of fears that keep you small. Every layer that is stripped away makes room for authenticity, strength, and vision to rise. This call to separation is urgent because destiny is not delayed for those who hesitate, and the moment of decision is now. Those who continue to entertain distractions will find themselves drifting further from their mission, while those who embrace separation will find clarity, strength, and supernatural alignment, opening doors they could not imagine. You are not being punished by being set apart. You are being positioned, and the loneliness of this season is only temporary compared to the harvest that is coming. The chosen ones must accept that not everyone can go where they are going. Not everyone can understand the vision that burns inside them. Not everyone has the discipline to walk the narrow path, and that is why separation is not just an option. It is a necessity. Pressure has a way of revealing what is hidden within. And for the chosen ones, the pressure you have endured has not been meaningless. It has been the loudest confirmation that you are carrying something worth fighting for. The battles you have faced, the relentless attacks, The unexpected setbacks and the weight of opposition have not come to break you, but to prove that your assignment is real. Resistance does not come to those who have nothing to offer. Resistance comes to those who are dangerous to the enemy's plans, those who carry light that exposes darkness, those who carry purpose that cannot be silenced. If you have wondered why life has felt like an unending battlefield, it is because what you carry is rare. It is because the power within you threatens the systems and forces that desire to keep people bound, and the enemy knows that if you step fully into your calling, chains will break, lives will change, and history will shift. Every attack is evidence that you are a target, but not just any target, a chosen one, set apart and marked by heaven. Pressure has surrounded you not because you are weak, but because you are strong, and strength is always forged in the fire of adversity. Think about how the diamond is formed, not in comfort, not in ease, but under immense pressure that transforms what was once ordinary into something priceless. That is the same process unfolding in your life. The struggles you have endured are shaping you into someone unshakable, someone who does not break easily, someone who understands how to endure when others collapse. This pressure is preparing you to carry influence, authority, and wisdom that cannot be stolen. Often, chosen ones misinterpret the battle as punishment, questioning why they must endure so much, wondering why others seem to walk with ease, while their path is filled with obstacles. But what they fail to see is that ease never produces greatness, and comfort never produces capacity. The harder the battle, the greater the anointing being prepared within you. Resistance is proof that your voice matters, your presence matters, your obedience matters. If you were insignificant, you would not be opposed, but because you are a threat to everything that opposes truth, you have become a target. Yet even in the targeting, there is protection, for you are never abandoned in the fire, you are refined in it. The pressure you feel is not meant to kill you. It is meant to awaken you to the reality of how valuable you are, to the assignment you carry. Every battle has taught you how to fight differently, how to pray more deeply, how to trust more fully, how to walk more wisely. The pressure has not been wasted. It has been building resilience, sharpening discernment, teaching patience, and giving you the courage to rise again after every fall. And though you may not have understood it in the moment, every attack has been part of a bigger design, because what you are being prepared for requires a level of strength that only comes through opposition. The chosen are not built in ease, they are built in battle, and the scars you carry are not signs of defeat, but signs of survival, signs that you have endured what was meant to destroy you and came out stronger. This is why the pressure is proof. The enemy would not bother you if you had no assignment. Life would not press on you so heavily if you were not carrying something powerful. You would not feel the intensity of resistance if you were not marked to make impact. So instead of despising the battles, learn to see them as confirmation that you are on the right path, that you are moving in the right direction, that the very opposition you face is evidence of the greatness within you. Pressure is not your enemy, it is your validation, because every time you endure it, you are becoming more unshakable, more prepared, more aligned with the purpose that only you can fulfill. There comes a moment when delay is no longer an option, when hesitation carries a cost greater than you can imagine. And this is one of those moments because the urgency of alignment cannot be ignored. Alignment is not a suggestion. It is a demand from heaven in this season, a call to bring every part of your life into order with the assignment on your soul. The distractions that once seemed harmless, the habits that once felt acceptable, the compromises that once appeared small, all of them must be laid aside because the time is short and the shift is near. You cannot afford to continue carrying weights that slow you down, because when the acceleration begins, only those who are light enough to run will keep pace with what is unfolding. This is why urgency is pressing on you now, why you feel the restlessness in your spirit, why nothing seems to satisfy until you begin to align yourself with your true calling. Alignment begins with clarity, the willingness to see where you have drifted, to recognize the places where you have allowed yourself to be entangled in distractions that dull your vision. Every chosen one must ask hard questions in this season. What am I giving my energy to? What voices am I allowing into my mind? What habits are shaping my daily walk? Because the truth is that misalignment is often subtle. It creeps in quietly, pulling you slightly off course until one day you realize you are far from where you were meant to be. The urgency of now is a wake-up call to bring yourself back into line, to recalibrate your heart, your focus, and your actions with the path heaven has marked for you. You cannot walk in half obedience and expect full blessing, and you cannot carry divided loyalties and expect to remain steady when the winds of change come. Strengthening your spirit is critical, because what is ahead will not be sustained by human strength or clever strategies alone. You will need endurance that only comes from deep spiritual roots, from prayer that anchors you, from discipline that shapes you, from wisdom that guides you when everything around you feels uncertain. The distractions of this world are designed to weaken your spirit, to scatter your focus, to drain your energy, but the urgency of this season is calling you to withdraw from the noise and build inner strength. Every day matters, every choice matters, every moment of alignment adds to the reservoir of strength you will need when the acceleration begins. You are not being asked to do this casually. You are being commanded to do this urgently, because the window is short and the moment of unveiling is near. Rapid changes are coming. Shifts that will move quickly, doors that will open suddenly, opportunities that will require immediate action. Those who are not aligned will miss what is set before them, not because the opportunities were not available, but because they were too distracted to recognize them, too unprepared to seize them, too weighed down to move when the moment arrived. This is why alignment is not just about spiritual focus, but about practical readiness, being disciplined in your habits, being faithful with your time, being intentional with your relationships, being clear about your priorities. Everything that is unnecessary must be stripped away so that when the shift happens, you are able to respond with clarity, speed, and strength. The urgency of alignment is not meant to create fear. It is meant to awaken you to the reality that destiny does not wait for indecision. You have been given time to prepare, but that time is running short. Every distraction you remove, every step you take towards strengthening your spirit, every act of obedience that aligns you with your true path is a seed planted for the season ahead. Those who align now will not be shaken when the changes accelerate. They will rise, they will move, they will step into places others only dreamed of, because they were ready, because they answered the call of alignment when it mattered most. There are moments in time when destiny shifts, when the atmosphere changes so dramatically that nothing looks the same afterward. And August 20, 2025 represents one of those moments. For the chosen ones who have endured, who have listened, who have prepared, this is not just another date on the calendar. It is the opening of a door, the unveiling of opportunities that have been hidden, the release of breakthroughs that were being stored up for the appointed time. The shift that follows will not be gradual. It will be sudden, and those who are aligned will recognize it immediately, stepping into positions, platforms, and places they once only dreamed about. Everything that felt delayed will suddenly find momentum. Everything that seemed blocked will suddenly open. Everything that was confusing will suddenly make sense, because this is what happens when destiny aligns with preparation. But while this shift brings favor and opportunity to the prepared, it also brings exposure to the unprepared, because a moment like this reveals who was ready and who was not. Those who ignored the call to prepare, those who clung to distractions, those who thought they had more time, will find themselves watching opportunities pass by, unable to move quickly enough to seize what was available. This is not punishment but consequence, the natural result of failing to recognize the urgency of the season. The chosen who answered the call will rise, not because they were more gifted, but because they were disciplined, not because they were more talented, but because they were aligned. Destiny does not reward potential, it rewards preparation, and the shift after August 20, 2025 will prove this truth in undeniable ways. This shift will not only affect individuals, but entire environments. Families will experience sudden transformation. Communities will feel the ripple effects of those stepping into purpose. Nations will see the impact of chosen ones rising into their rightful places. The world will look different because those who were hidden will no longer be hidden, and those who were silent will no longer be silent. The acceleration will be undeniable, and the separation will be visible, because the difference between those who prepared and those who ignored the call will be evident to all. Some will wonder why doors opened so easily for a few, while others struggled to move forward. And the answer will be alignment, discipline, and readiness. Breakthroughs will come in unusual ways. Opportunities will arise in unexpected places, and connections will be made that could never have been orchestrated by human hands. For the chosen, this shift will feel like a sudden lifting of burdens, like chains breaking, like barriers falling, because what once resisted them will no longer have the power to hold them back. This is why the preparation has been so intense, why the battles have been so relentless, why the pruning has been so painful, because the weight of what is coming requires vessels that are strong enough to carry it without being crushed. Every struggle, every season of silence, every hidden battle will suddenly reveal its purpose in this moment of destiny shift. Yet, it must be remembered that this is not a shift for everyone. It is a shift for the prepared, for those who did not give up in the waiting, for those who did not compromise when it was easier to conform, for those who chose the narrow path when everyone else chose convenience. The urgency of the previous season was to ensure that when this door opened, you would be able to walk through it without hesitation. Now the destiny shift is upon you, and what comes after August 20, 2025 will not leave things as they were before. The world will look at the chosen ones differently, because the grace, the power, and the authority resting on them will be undeniable. And those who failed to prepare will realize too late that the moment has passed.